On Wednesday, I mentioned that I would be having a theme for my homily, so I'm going to start this week. The theme is beauty, which if your first reaction is, well, that's nice, but what does that have to do with anything? You're not alone, because that's exactly what I thought of when I first thought of, what's the big deal? Why talk about beauty? I mean, I kind of know that Orthodoxy has a particular affection for beauty because the way we decorate the church, the way we decorate ourselves, the way we serve the liturgy, the way we sing the music, seems to have a pretty strong ethos towards the beautiful. And that beauty is an offering to God. But I'm, like you, primarily a culture of Western civilization, in which the idea of beauty has its place. And more that place is the province of cosmetics, advertising, and so forth. In fact, we have a term, which hopefully by the end of the sermon you will realize how profoundly strange and unusual it is. The beauty industry. As if something like beauty can be manufactured on a mass level. But over the course of the last year, this topic has been coming up again and again in the readings I do, in the events that I'm participating in, and I wanted to do a deeper exploration of this concept of beauty. First of all, you may not know this, but beauty is a very important idea to the ancients and to the ancient philosophers. Most of the time when we talk about things like philosophy and ethics, we're thinking about that which is true and that which is good. But we don't realize that in the ancient world, you never spoke of philosophy and ethics without also including the third category of aesthetics, the study of beauty. It was understood that something that was true would be inherently good, and something that was both true and good would also be inherently beautiful, which in turn means that that which is beautiful will always reflect truth and will always reflect that which is good. So you really can't talk about truth and goodness without also talking about beauty in some way. But we live, as I said, the product of the Western world in which beauty was put to the side as kind of an option. As something nice, but, superficial and not really at the core of reality. Truth is, and maybe goodness is, but even goodness has kind of fallen by the wayside, right? It's become a relative idea. It's become subject to the demands of utilitarianism and pragmatism, right? That's our model of ethics. Father Webster once said to me he was very concerned when he saw that at the military academies, the courses on ethics that had traditionally been taught by chaplains were now being taught by lawyers. It tells you something about the shift in our society. And for the Holy Fathers who come out of this tradition, both the tradition of the biblical tradition, but also the culture of ancient Hellenism, they also adopted this understanding of beauty as core. And that's why so much of what we do as Orthodox Christians coming from the ancient worldview is so tied to this appreciation and love and focus on beauty. And it's in our hymnography, not just that our hymns are meant to be beautiful, but the very idea of beauty comes forth over and over again, even though we don't hear necessarily the word. So I want to talk over the next few weeks of Great Lent about the concept of beauty, and Lent as a journey towards beauty, or a return, actually, to beauty, and really get an understanding of what true beauty is. Because, like I said, it's been so diminished, so compartmentalized, so superficialized, whatever you want to call it. And in doing some of my readings, I encountered an idea that I had not, maybe I had heard it, but it never hit the way it hit when I read it. And I thought, this is absolutely an amazing idea. And it comes, it's expressed in several fathers, but it's expressed very strongly in a saint, in the writings of a saint known as Saint Dionysius the Areopagite, which some scholars say is probably not the same Dionysius that Paul knew in Athens, but a later figure. Nonetheless, it's considered saintly writings in the church, and it's very influential writings. It's called On the Divine Names. It's very high-level theology, actually. And St. Maximus the Confessor drew from it heavily as well and was interested in it. And so it's kind of the apex theology of the church. So I'm not going to go too deep into that side of it. But one of the things that this Dionysius says is that God, amongst the many divine names, such as goodness and truth, he has two names that we should also include: beauty and the beautiful. What's the distinction between that? He is beauty in that he is the source of all understanding of beauty. Everything which is, when we behold something and say, that's beautiful, what we're really saying is that reflects something that came from God, because he is the source of beauty. And we say that he is the beautiful because to behold him, to behold the beauty that he has, and to share in the beauty, which is what it means to be beautiful, is in fact the goal of all creation. That our most eternal and deepest and most intimate longing within ourselves is to behold the beauty of God and to participate in it, to become beautiful through him and in him and by him. This is why our spiritual beauty is so much more important than our external beauty. Our external beauty is like the flower of the field, right? It's there one day and then the next it's vanished. It's all withered and gone. We say this in our funeral services. We'll talk later about that, actually. But an even deeper idea that blew my mind, I don't know if it'll blow your mind, but it blew my mind, was that out of this understanding of beauty comes our very idea of how God created the world. We kind of read Genesis and we kind of, I don't know how you think of it, but like what comes to your mind when you hear that says, God created the heavens and the earth? What does that mean? Do you think of a little guy tinkering? Or like a child making a mud pie and breathing into it and suddenly it's the earth? That reflects our Western mechanistic worldview, actually. This idea that God is, when God creates, that creation means manufacturing. If you think that way when you hear those terms, it's not because that's what it says in the Bible. It's because that's what that Western mechanistic worldview has created within us to think. But in the mindset of a Dionysius, the idea that God created the heavens and the earth, that he hovered above the waters, the idea that he has is that God's beauty was so overwhelming, so beyond anything that could be even described as beauty, something that would create such longing that non-existence itself erupted into being in order to embrace it. That's incredible. The beauty of God creates because non-existence cannot endure to remain non-existence. It says, I must be because I long to be united to the beautiful. That's the image of God that we have. And so when it says that we are created in the image and likeness of God, think about what that then means. Think about how we belong to be loved by another, and how the most painful and deepest feeling we'll ever have is to love and to lose love. It's because the echo of creation itself is happening within us. The echo of desire for the beautiful is manifesting in our lives. This is what drives everything that we do in the church. This return, this longing for beauty, this longing to come into true being with God, and thus to come to the truth of who we are and to be filled with the goodness of who we are. Everything we read in the readings today has this underlying principle actually underneath it. From Hebrews talking about how the Son of God created the heavens and the earth, and he endures from age to age, and the things of this world will pass away. That's why we long for him. He's eternal. He's beyond eternal, actually, which is a weird idea to get your head around. Sometimes say pre-eternal God, as if how can something be pre-eternal? How can it be beforeness? That's how beautiful he is. It blows our mind. The good shepherd, the shepherd hear his voice and they know that he is the good shepherd, and they long for him and they come for him. That's the concept of beauty. All of these things that we heard today, everything in the liturgy, draws our souls up from the mire of ugliness that is in this world, the ugliness of sin and death and decay, corruption, and drives us towards the ultimate good of our God because of its beauty. When we try to reduce ethics and reduce philosophy to that which is true in the sense of, well, it's logical and it's consistent and it fits together nicely and all that, it has inherency, it's coherent, that's not beautiful. It may be correct and accurate, but it's not true. It's not true until it also includes the element of beauty, because that which is true will always reflect beauty. And so as a society, we have seen the more rationalistic we become, the more focused on only a stark idea of truth, it becomes less and less true. It becomes more just simple empiricism. It just becomes data and brute information without meaning, without substance, without any kind of true value. The stories that we love are not stories that are the most accurate stories. They're not the most realistic portrayals of historical events, even though those are fascinating. The stories that stay with us, brothers and sisters, are the ones that speak truth, even if they may not be completely nonfiction, right? All of our great tales have a mythic quality because something that transcends historical fact is beauty, and truth is found in the beauty. So there's so much to learn from the concept of beauty, brothers and sisters. There's so much in our becoming human that has to do with this concept of beauty. And that is at the heart of what this Lenten journey was meant to be, a return to beauty. So I invite you to come along for the journey throughout this Lent as we explore the mystery, the sacrament of beauty. Christ is among us.
It's not talking.